Greetings, comrades. It is I, RussianCarl, and I'm here to bring you another UBL matchup, this time in Week 5 of the first season of UBL, as we're going up against Coach SareneGrace and her Chicago Shaymin-Sky. And I'd just like to take a minute to say to all the people running this league that I'm super excited and super grateful that I get to take part in this league in place of Hannons, because he did have to step down, as we said on the past couple of videos, due to real-life problems. And I'm going to do him proud. Last week, I didn't do him proud. I lost 1-0 to Token, who is man in charge of this league. And unfortunately, it was due to my own stupid mistakes. But, you know, learning experience, all that. I was nervous. I was not mentally ready for a match like that. But is what it is. Like I said, I want to improve going forward and do better. Anyway, like I said, this week we are battling SareneGrace and her Chicago Shaymin-Sky. As you see on the screen, it does say Hannons. I'm Carl, but it says Hannons. I had to use Hannons' game because I don't have the Mega Ring in my game yet. I did get it today, though, so that's all taken care of now, and I can actually use my game, and you'll see my guy, who's lovely. But anyway, so this week we brought our Mega Glade, Registeel, Rotom Heat, Volcanion, Amapom, and Torterra going up against her team, which she brought Seismitoad, Gardevoir, Porygon 2, Raichu, Arcanine, Mew, but she does have other mons such as like the Scizor, Mega Glalie, Hitmontop, Drapion, and Noivern. I did predict, when I was prepping, I predicted Glalie to actually come. She did not bring the Glalie, which kind of surprised me because it does kill quite a few guys on my team. Including the Torterra, which I brought, so I guess that was lucky stars there. I also expected Noivern, because Noivern just outsped all my entire team naturally without the use of a Choice Scarf or anything like that, and kind of puts pressure on me that I didn't want to deal with. But she didn't bring that either, so super lucky on that. But I didn't do a team builder or anything, so I'll just quickly go over what I brought. Glade was just max attack, max speed. Jolly, I believe he was Drain Punch, Leaf Blade, Knockoff, and Taunt. Registeel was a special defensive set, rocking Ice Punch, Flash Cannon, the Toxic, and Stealth Rocks. Rotom Heat was Assault Vested with Overheat, Volt Switch. I can't remember the last move. Oh, Shadow Ball and Hidden Power Grass. Volcanion was Solar Beam, Flame Charge, Flamethrower, and Steam Eruption. Amapom I didn't get to use as much as I wanted to, but as you'll see why. But he was Fake Out, U-Turn, Knockoff, and Fire Punch. And the Torterra, which was Earthquake, Seed Bomb. I can't remember this. Rock Polish and Stone Edge. So I went for some flavorful sets here, especially with the Volcanion and the Torterra. I wanted to try some stuff out, and I guess you guys will get to see if it worked out or not. But I guess we'll just head straight into the battle and get right to it. So as you probably saw from the screen, I decided against her squad, probably the best thing would just leave my Amapom. I could fake out whatever it is, because she didn't bring Scissors, so she had nothing that resisted. And she had no ghost types or anything like that, so there was nothing really nothing stopping me from just clicking Fake Out turn 1 for some easy damage on something. So that's what I did. I went for the Fake Out, did a nice sizable chunk to her Seismitoad, which she led, and opted after that. I was just going to U-turn out. Figured she was just going to go for rocks, and I'm like, I'll just go into Torterra, because Torterra threatens this out, and I could just set up a Rock Polish here, which would actually be really cool. She does go for her Stealth Rocks, which is fine. I did kind of think that, you know, maybe she's gonna have like Ice Beam or something like this on her Seismitoad, but she at least wasn't showing it there, because she did just go for the Stealth Rocks and switch out straight into Porygon, which I realized I can't kill that with Franklin. Franklin is not strong enough to deal with that. He is now fast, but he's not strong enough to deal with this, and I didn't want to be toxic or, you know, be stalled out by Porygon, so I opted just go straight into my Registeel, who's pretty much my dedicated switch into the Porygon. The Porygon shows off Defense Curl right off the bat, which intrigued me, because I've never seen Defense Curl on the Porygon, but first time for everything. It does start firing off some Shadow Balls on me. Like I said, I'm especially defensive. That was a crit, and that did nothing. So this Porygon wasn't breaking through Registeel, at least not like that. So I was able to get the Toxic off on it. And now Digital here is on a timer, which I very much want to do. I didn't want to have to deal with a Porygon constantly spamming Recover all game, and putting Toxic prevents him from doing that, especially if he ends up being the last person left. I then wanted to go for Stealth Rocks, and the Porygon goes for Tri-Attack and freezes me on the first one. So I'm frozen solid. I don't get my Stealth Rocks off. My lefties are kicking in, healing me, but I was in a pickle now because this opened up. I could either stay in and try to go for more Stealth Rocks and hope I de-thaw instantly, but that lets her get a free switch. I did stay in, and Elvis came in, the Arcanine. And right off the bat, I did notice that there was no Intimidate. And you'll see later on, that makes a big difference later on in the match. But so I'm thinking she's either Flash Fire or Justified here. Which I had to be careful because I didn't want to really risk anything. But I went into Rotom, took the Rocks damage because Rotom was pretty much my only switch into the Arcanine. And it goes for a Flame Charge. Which was kind of funny because I brought Flame Charge on my Volcanion, probably for the same reason she did on the Arcanine. But seeing as I'm guessing she didn't have any coverage to deal with Rotom, she switched out back into Digital, and I believe I went for the Shadow Ball for a safe play, but Digital came in. At this point, I just decided, why not? I'm in. There's really nothing this thing's going to do to me, so I'm just going to go for an Overheat. Let's just see how much damage I can do. Did a decent amount of damage, but didn't kill it, and gets a Tri-Attack off. I guess trying to, like, I don't know, just do some damage, because I'm pretty much immune to the status of Tri-Attack. But I went for an Overheat, trying to get the kill, but the Special Attack Reduction prevented that, and she just recovers right up to just above half HP. Toxic is putting in the work, though, dropping her down to just below half HP. At this point, I just figure, okay, I'm just going to go for a Volt Switch. Elvis came back out, which is fine. I didn't care what other. The only thing I didn't want to come in was Andreas, the Seismitoad. So Elvis is going to take a little chip damage from the Volt Switch. And considering I was at Neg 4 Special Attack, I did a little more than I thought it was going to. Anyway, so I brought an Ampom. I figured, you know what, we'll go for another Fake Out because it's free damage at this point. She has nothing that stops it, and Digital comes back in, which I'm like, you know what, this is really good. We're gonna take the Fake Out, drop it, and I figured next turn we can go for the knockoff and most likely get the kill. But he lives on a Sliver and gets the Recover off, so he doesn't die from the Toxic either. So the Eviolite's gone, but now this thing is still really annoying, and I just wasn't having it. But at the same time, I didn't want to. I didn't know. I had forgotten Defense Curl was a thing, so I didn't want to be Toxic, fearing that it had Toxic. So I U-turned back into Registeel, knowing fully well that this would allow the Arcanine to come back in. But I figured out at least I can, you know, try to de-thaw and get my rocks up and make it so the Arcanine has a tougher time switching in and out, as well as the rest of her team in general. Other than the Mew, I don't think she had any way of getting rid of my rocks, which was a big plus. She didn't bring her spinner. But Andreas is what ends up coming in, and I'm like, you know what? If Andreas takes out Registeel, then Rotom comes in for free and kills Andreas with HP Grass, even if it has a Rindo Berry at this point. So I'm just going to stay in. She goes for the Earth Power, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, well, if she's going to go for Earth Powers, I can just switch into Rotom Heat and get a free switch back in, and then threaten him with the HP Grass anyway. But then I realized that's what she wants me to think. So I stayed in, opted to take the Scald that I knew was coming, and de-thawed out that way. Got my rocks up, and now I know, because Scald does so little damage, I can go for a Toxic and whittle down the Seismitoad as well, which works out great, because the next couple turns is just, you know, she's firing off Scald, seeing if I'm gonna switch into Rotom. But I, at this point, had opted to stay in. I did get burned. Doesn't make a difference, because I pretty much just go Toxic, and I think I throw out one Ice Punch, which appropriately does nothing, because I'm burned with no attack investment. So is what it is. I think she goes for an Earth Power at this point. Or no, I think she goes for another Scald, then goes for the Earth Power. Yeah. I just go for the Ice Punch, and I do appropriately nothing. She doesn't get a crit with the Scald, but it doesn't make a difference. No freeze either, but she would have just thawed out next turn by using Scald. So, like I said, nothing makes a difference here. Yeah, at this point, I was pretty much in a pretty good position because I figured by the time he killed Registeel, he'd be low enough that he can't risk switching out, coming back in, because he would just die to rocks. So I was safe to bring in Rotom and just fire off the HP Grass. And at this point, Rotom was low enough that he wouldn't be able to switch out once I switched him back in, because rocks would kill him on the next way, and I didn't have any way of removing rocks this week. So it does show the Rindo Berry when I go for the HP Grass. That's fine. It kills at this point no matter what. Even if it didn't, we would have taken ourselves out. I believe at this point she goes into her Gardevoir, which I was kind of wondering if it was Scarfed or not, seeing she brought it in against me, and Rotom naturally outspeeds Gardevoir, so I figured, okay, if she's faster, that means she's Scarfed. Because my Rotom was max speed. And the Moonblast does go off before anything else happens, so I learned that, okay, the Gardevoir's Scarfed, and now locked in the Moonblast. So, looking at my team, like, alright, I guess my only thing to bring in here is Volcanion. He'll resist the Moonblast and take it pretty decently. And then you're like, alright, I can go for Steam Eruption, but I'm like, you know what? She's forced to switch here. Let me go for my Flame Charge so I can get a +1 speed so that I can actually outrun the Arcanine when that comes back. And it was a good thing I didn't, because she went into Digital anyway and traced my Water Absorb. So I went for the Flame Charge here. Now, I mean, knowing what I know now after the fact, I should have tried to kill this thing with a Flamethrower from this point, instead of what I'm about to do. Which is use my Z move, because I had Z Solar Beam for the Seismitoad. But with Seismitoad gone, there was no other place for it. And I could have done this. Save this for something else, say the Gardevoir or whatever, which ends up coming out as soon as I kill this Porygon, because Porygon's gone at this point. It's low enough, no Eviolite. It wasn't taking anything. So she sends back out the Gardevoir. Now, I knew she was Scarfed, but I didn't know how much speed investment. It's possible she still would have outran me, but to be safe, I figured a Thunderbolt was coming, considering she brought it in on Jacuzzi. So I went straight into Franklin, seeing he's a ground type and immune to said Thunderbolt. And she did go for the Thunderbolt, which is a good prediction on my part to see that. So knowing she is forced to switch because she's Scarfed, I went straight for another Rock Polish. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the game. Because Franklin gets the Rock Polish up, and he proceeds to sweep the rest of her team. Yeah. And again, no Intimidate on the Arcanine. Torterra's attack stat doesn't get lowered, so I'm at full power. And the only thing that lives in Earthquake is this Mew. And for some reason she went for Calm Mind. Because at this point she pretty much knew I was going to outspeed it. Best case would have been try to get some damage off. But I guess she overestimated how much damage, or underestimated how much damage Torterra was going to do with his Earthquake. So, I don't know. But she went for the Calm Mind, which really doesn't do anything in the situation, because I was just going to kill her again on the following turn anyway. And then Gardevoir and Raichu are going to come out one by one and also each take an Earthquake. And that's going to be it. These last couple turns are just the Earthquaking. Yeah. I never thought when I decided to bring a Rock Polish Torterra that it would put in this much work. Especially not against a team that did have a Mega Glalie, but she opted not to bring it. And even if she did, I was prepared. I knew that I would outspeed the Mega Glalie after a Rock Polish, and I did a Yachi Berry, so I could take a Ice Shard fairly well. and then hit it with a Stone Edge. Of course, this is assuming I hit the Stone Edge, but, you know. And that is going to be the end of the match. Torterra picks up 4 kills, taking out most of her squad. And it was, I gotta say, a thing of beauty. I was crying tears of joy in my home. Franklin did the New York Charmanders. He did them proud. I'm sure, you know, if Hannons was watching, he'd be happy. He'd be seeing that we're on the right direction, that we're taking the team to where we need to be, to new heights, and hopefully the playoffs. But we still got some work to do for that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this match and this video and everything, and I hope you're looking forward to next week as well. If you're interested in seeing SareneGrace's side of the battle, I'm going to post the link to her channel in the description below, so you guys can check that out as well. But anyway, guys, I'm finished up here, so I'm going to sign out. See you guys later.